Hey freelancers, I'm going to be doing a Wish app review for 2020, 2021, and the upcoming years. And if you're not familiar, Wish basically offers a variety of discounts. Some are good, some are not. The quality of the products are kind of iffy because it's a whole drop shipping, wholesale type of thing. So you're getting direct shipping from China and all these other countries. And some of the deals are good, some of the deals not so much. The problem with that is a lot of them don't list the brand or anything like that. So you're kind of throwing a dart in the dark here when you consider using Wish as an app. But in regards to wholesale and drop shipping, it can be very beneficial because you can cut the cost of the middleman and go right to the manufacturer. And if you're looking for an inventory to buy wholesale, this is kind of a good place to take a look and get an idea of what's selling and what's not. It's not necessarily an ideal app to purchase anything from. I'm going to get in a little bit more detail about that, but make sure to like this video, share your own input on Wish app and all that kind of stuff, and comment and subscribe to the channel if you like the video and you want more videos just like this. But before I get too far into it, I'm going to cover what arbitrage is. And it's basically the simultaneous buying and selling of securities, currency, commodities in different markets or in derivative forms in order to take advantage of different prices of the same asset. And that sounds probably pretty complicated, but it's essentially buy low, sell high, and it's very beneficial through the Wish app if you are drop shipping or something like that, because you get a lot of exposure and a lot of eyes to that. And the Wish app is pretty well known, at least from the consumer point of view. Might not be as noticeable from like the average retail arbitrage person, so on and so forth, or drop shipper, because a lot of people might be sticking with more Shopify and things in that direction aspect. But from a drop shipping point of view, it is a very viable tool to be considering into 2020. And there's a lot of issues here and there, at least in regards to being the consumer. That, but as LifeWire puts it, you don't really know what you're necessarily getting. You don't know the brand that you're necessarily getting, and some things might be inflated in price, where some things might not be. Where they say, they put it, as it's marked down from 181 on $18, that you don't know if you're actually getting what you expect to be getting when you go through Wish.com. And well, it's a Wish app you can download on your phone, Android and Apple. But essentially, you really don't know what to expect when you're purchasing from Wish. Sometimes you might also be waiting for months. uh, I've ordered products on there before, and I've waited years and years and years before I actually, not years and years, months and months before I actually receive the product. Sometimes you never receive the product, but they have a pretty easy customer service that you can kind of essentially re-request the product and or just get refunded 100% because they're aware that some products might never get shipped, because the way it works is they look for filling up a truck full or plane full or what have you, and they want to collect up enough sales from the US before it's even viable to ship out to their consumers. So at some point, if you're the only one ordering out of even 300 people and they're looking for 2,000 people to buy the dollar or two product, it's not necessarily even worth shipping just as an e-packet by itself, and you can learn all about that. I'll try to link in the future to some different information about that, but they get a kind of a deal because they ship directly to you rather than going out of the usual channels where you might get it shipped to the US, and then in the US you might be purchasing from someone. This goes direct from the manufacturer to you, so it cuts out kind of a middleman for the cost, and that can be beneficial for drop shippers, can be beneficial to the consumer depending on what you're purchasing. You got to be very careful because some of the products are deceptive in their pictures. They might look nice in the picture, but in reality the actual quality of the product can be iffy. So this is also something to keep in mind before you consider placing a bulk order, even for drop shipping or a wholesale, just in general, if you wanted to get a bargain product and resell it through something like Facebook or something along that regards. But you get the point. And just some things to keep in mind, that when you're using the Wish app, it does, as LifeWire puts it, and as BuzzFeed reported, that essentially it does display your public name. The shipping times I already covered, that it varies, but You're usually going to be waiting at least a month or two. They say some users report it taking longer than a month and then a matter of days. But I've waited months and months before. Some people have waited days. I've received some packets within a week when I've ordered things in the past. I've even ordered stuff and I thought, oh, well, I guess they're just never going to ship it, and it arrives 6, 7 months later. Other ones I end up forgetting about, and then I check Wish every now and then I just cancel those that I've been waiting for months and months, and they just never arrived, and things like that. So, I mean, don't expect quick shipment, but at the same time, don't expect a high-end product. So essentially, the less moving parts product that you get, the closer to the product that you're actually going to receive in the mail. And this can be beneficial for, as I mentioned before, wholesalers and things like that. Obviously, their competitors are things like AliExpress and Holler and Zulily, but the main thing is that they are equivalent of a drop shipper. So you can buy a drop shipper to drop shipper, and then you could sell directly to the consumer through more US market and actually make a profit off of that. So you can get the inventory and then you can put it in a warehouse if you have that kind of capital, or you could store it at home and then you can kind of resell over time through a different market, through eBay or what have you, and you might be able to get a marked up profit off of that. But keep in mind, this is a drop shipping inventory, so you want to make sure you're picking a product that's actually viable. Personally, I've tried it and I've had a little bit of success, but I don't really use it that much. I'll get into future videos about how it works out for me in the future in regards to drop shipping and wholesale and all that kind of stuff, and whether it's viable for the long term. But I just wanted to make this kind of Wish app review for 2020. It's still a viable business to be considering, and it's not something that you necessarily need to overlook. And legitimacy wise, it's just like Amazon and eBay. You kind of pick and choose the individuals you're dealing with. With Amazon and eBay, you deal with less drop shippers. Even Amazon doesn't even really prefer to allow you to deal with drop shippers. Some people find a loophole around that. But essentially, it's like dealing with eBay, Amazon. You're dealing with a seller you're not necessarily familiar with, and you got a little bit of a feedback score and things like that. The products, as they say, highlight here, it's mostly coming from China. But, that is something you got to consider, is that the quality of the products can be iffy, 50-50. So you never know what you're going to necessarily get. But Wish app is pretty straightforward. You get discounts. Sometimes you can find really good deals. Sometimes you can find really bad deals. You got to be careful what you're purchasing. You got to do a lot of cross referencing with eBay and Amazon and other related things to make sure that the clothes or whatever you're getting are going to be reflective of what you're actually going to receive. I've seen people say like they've ordered a bath towel like to cover the floor, or bath rug rather, and if you don't look at the size specifications, you might end up with a wallet-sized little foot rug rather than what you were actually expecting, and you pay 10, 20 bucks and you end up essentially getting swindled. So you got to be very careful about the measurements of things that you're buying through the Wish app as well. And you got to be very careful, especially if you're going to be utilizing it for a business purpose. Now, on the flip side coin, you can actually sell on Wish fairly easily, and you can do that with the drop shipping with the manufacturers, and you can get a lot of exposure that way as well. I personally like Shopify a little bit better, but from a free standpoint, Wish is a great app to consider to utilize for that purpose of selling. And it's a little bit competitive in a way, but if you have the right niche and the right audience following you, then you can get a lot of exposure and a lot of profit from that. This is the review that I wanted to cover, and I hope this was a little bit informative. I'm going to try to go a little bit more into detail about it as I get more into it. So make sure to like this video, comment below your own experience with Wish app, and check out the channel for other videos that I've did in the past. But I'm going to cover, obviously the importance of drop shipping before I get right in ending the video, just as a quick recap that, as Shopify puts it, less capital is required and it's easier to get set up. But there's risks involved in drop shipping, but I will cover that in a whole other video that you guys can check out. But this is just going to cover basics of Wish app and the benefits of it, and that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in this video. Just different little screenshots of Wish if you're not familiar. And they're still pouring money into it. This is a few years old article. People are still investing in it, so there must be a market in regards to utilizing Wish, and whether you want to consider utilizing Wish, that's really up to you in the end. There's a lot of benefits, but at the same time, there's a lot of risk as well. Once you get familiarized with drop shipping and arbitrage and all of that kind of stuff. So you can see with my channel here, you can check out other videos that are going to be like this, and this video is going to be under the freelance tools that you can watch the other ones that I've reviewed, such as Social Blade and Facebook Marketplace and TubeBuddy. I'll be doing some other videos like vidIQ that chances are if you're watching this at this point, the vidIQ video will already be up, and some other videos as well that you can check out from different tools to consider to different methods to make extra money online. And then last thing I want to cover is that I have a Patreon if you want to consider that. And the Patreon has different tiers, $5, $35, and $60. The $5 covers the just basics of entrepreneurialism. If you want to like support the channel and things like that and videos like this, then I'd recommend doing at least that tier. But there's also a $35 one if you want to consider learning different freelancing techniques and strategies for stocks and things like that. Nonetheless, here I can work directly with you for freelancing related help through the freelancer guidance area, and it'll be in a little chat-esque area from Discord if you're familiar with Discord. If not, I have a free channel you can check out, and essentially it covers a lot of freelancing related tips and stock tips and things like that. Kind of looks like this here, and as you can see, I have different resources listed here as well, different stock related categories, things like that. So if you want to check all of that out, all of that will be basically in the description below. All the resources mentioned in this video will be covered as well. So if you have any questions about anything really, or if you want to talk to live traders or freelancers or things like that, I'd recommend checking links out in the description below. And of course, subscribing to the channel, which you can do with the bell icon in the bottom right of this video. And you just kind of click it and subscribe. It's pretty standard YouTube stuff. Thanks for listening in, and you guys all have a great day.